Yo, what's going on? I appreciate y'all as always for tuning into this live. It's been a couple days in a row where we talked about something shady that's going on in the ecosystem. Hey, day number two of talking about shady, potentially fraudulent, I'm gonna say potentially fraudulent conduct. And this one involves someone who is a celebrity. Yeah, definitely a celebrity. I mean, presidents on the show. I'm Marcus. If you're new to the channel, hey, you're at the channel, The Debt Free Dad, where we're talking finances and attorney reactions. Hey, I always have to throw the disclaimer out there. I am an attorney and licensed in several places, but none of those places amount to me being your lawyer. So if you're looking for legal or financial advice, you got to go get a professional in your area and make sure you get a professional in the right arena of law to resolve the problem or situation that you have. Now, we're going to talk about real estate fraud and real estate fraud allegations. It boils down to a Ponzi scheme made up of bogus ass real estate investments. And right now, in the center of the story is DJ Envy, along with another individual by the name of Cesar Pina. Now, I'm gonna play about I got two videos because we got to get the background of what's going on. Yo, if you really want a good in-depth breakdown of what's going on with this particular case, there's a lot of dope channels. Shout out to Tony the Closer. He was the first person who kind of broke this story. He has a dope YouTube channel. Of course, y'all know my guy Pocket Watching with JT has a video. Spencer Cornelia. There's a lot of places you can go to find the story that are much more entertaining than this news video I'm about to show. But this news video was the shortest, so that's what we're going to start with. Now, one of the things you got to realize though with Ponzi schemes, generally, and I represented a few Ponzi scheme guys who stole millions of dollars. Generally, hey, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. Good evening to you. Good evening to you. Generally, with a Ponzi scheme, well, there's a few things. One, they think they're the smartest person in the room. Yeah, every client I had who had a Ponzi scheme, it was always like some Harvard guy or some Stanford guy who was too damn smart for their own good. So, one, they think they're the smartest person in the room. Most times, they actually start from a place of people actually trying to help investors. I've never seen a Ponzi scheme case that I work personally where an individual started out with the intent to defraud people. Like, you know what? Hey, I got this great investment. Little do they know I'm about to hit you with the finesse. It normally doesn't happen like that. Normally, it's somebody who bright eyed, bushy tail. They actually really want to invest. They get money. They start investing in things that are extremely risky. Of course, they start losing money. So, what do they do to pay the original investors? They go out and get more people to invest. So now you're using new money to pay out interest for old investors when you don't even have their money in the first place. It's like Social Security. Social Security is not a Ponzi scheme, but it does have Ponzi scheme tendencies. Like my father gets Social Security now. Who pays for his Social Security? Me. New money is paying for old obligations. That's the same kind of Ponzi scheme concept. Even though Social Security isn't a Ponzi scheme, Social Security is kind of Ponzi scheme light. It's kind of Ponzi scheme light. So let's go ahead, check out the video so y'all can get the background on what happened. We're going to break down the video. We're going to talk about some legal pitfalls that happen in these few videos that we're going to watch. And we're going to talk about what is the likelihood of, because I've seen a lot of videos on this, but I haven't seen any video where somebody broke down like, yo, does this dude Envy have any exposure of actually getting prosecuted for this criminally? We're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna give y'all my decade plus. I ain't gonna tell y'all exactly how long. Y'all can tell from the grade, but I'm gonna give y'all my decade plus of experience in the legal field, in this criminal arena, in the civil litigation arena. Let y'all know what's going on. Hold fast, hold fast. We gotta back out of this real quick for a hot second. Give me 1 second. Okay. I see. I jacked everything up. Let me get the. Give me 1 second. I gotta add this video back because it's two videos. That's video number two with him speaking about what is going on. So let me get. We don't want that one. We want that one. All right. Here we go. We in there now. We got the right video up. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties. I ain't got no technical difficulties. Yeah, see, I got a whole new setup going on, and I tried to adjust everything right before we started.
Tonight, an I-Team exclusive investigation involving a real estate deal and one of the most recognizable voices in radio. Investors in a real estate venture say they were swindled out of millions of dollars. And they argue syndicated radio rapper Rashawn Casey, better known as DJ Envy from the show The Breakfast Club, promoted these deals. Investigative reporter Sarah Wallace talked to the alleged victims and has the response to those mounting accusations you're about to hear for the first time.
We've helped so many people, not just regular people, but celebrities, athletes, executives.
That's DJ Envy on his syndicated iHeart radio show, The Breakfast Club. He's often promoted the real estate venture of his pal, Cesar Pina.
You might know him on Instagram as Flippin' NJ.
But it's more than just a passing endorsement.
You could partner with us on some deals, make some money with us.
Envy and Cesar have teamed up for seminars, including one at the Jacob Javits Convention Center, pitching opportunities to flip properties, often in distressed areas of New Jersey.
We invested $200,000 and looks like we're never going to get it back.
Jose Santiago and his wife, Jessica Ortiz, say they believed investing in this neighborhood of Patterson would be their ticket to the American dream.
That's the reason why I got into real estate, so we can actually start flipping properties, buying properties, so we can have something for our kids in the future.
The couple says they connected with entrepreneur Cesar after seeing him on social media with DJ Envy.
He's advertising this all over the radio and on television. I've seen shows of him all over the place, so I thought this was legit.
The pitch to invest in rundown properties that would be renovated and flipped for more money. The promise to return up to 30%. In some cases, Cesar didn't even own the properties. This couple took out $200,000 in equity from their Florida home, promised that 30% return within 4 months. Then they say nothing.
I'm paying the interest right now every month, and I have nothing.
Well, at this point, we just want our money back.
Nigel Chamblin says he was conned by Cesar into investing $235,000 in that same Patterson property, along with two others, $300,000 each for homes in Hawthorne and in Maplewood.
$835,000 in total on all three houses. There were other people investing in the exact same properties. It was a scam. It was a lie.
Augie Rios owns a custom auto wrap shop in Lodi, who says he worked on Envy's cars for years and believed his pitch. He did get back a return on an initial investment with Cesar, but maintains a second investment on this Patterson property went south.
If it wasn't for DJ Envy, I would have never invested into Cesar. I lost a total of $64,000.
After receiving two bounce checks, Rios says he got a visit from Cesar carrying this box of jewelry.
He said, take this jewelry until I can pay you back.
How much did you say this was worth?
15, 20 grand.
Then there's record producer Anthony Martini, who invested in what he thought was a promising apartment project in Patterson.
I lost $1 million.
And you went in because of DJ Envy.
Yeah, I did. I mean, you know, I'd known Envy for years.
Martini's attorney has filed a lawsuit.
It's some sort of Ponzi-like scheme where he's taking money from one investor to pay off other investors. You're looking at over $40 million invested with the Pinas in their companies.
Breaking news here on Tony the Closer's Live.
The complaint floodgates opened up when alleged victims started appearing on the social media platform of influencer Tony the Closer, a self-proclaimed real estate scam watchdog.
I decided to make it where everybody would know the
Shout out to Tony
disgusting
the
behavior
Closer.
that they're practicing.
Breaking this
Dozens of
story.
lawsuits have now been filed against Cesar and his wife. Several also name Envy, who has sued Tony the Closer for defamation after also going on with him live.
And there's nobody in here that could ever say Envy, they gave Envy $1.
Envy, whose real name is Rashawn Casey, declined to talk to the I-Team, referring us to a powerful Manhattan real estate attorney. He says the radio personality lost $500,000 to the Pinas in an investment deal to transform this vacant school building in Patterson into rental units.
He is a victim, just like the
That guy don't
other
know what he's
victims
talking
are
about.
in connection with the scam.
Why, if he's a victim, hasn't he?
All right, before we watch the end of this video, there's always a caveat. And I said this when we started. Why in the hell, DJ Envy, holla at your boy, DJ Envy. You need some guidance. Why the hell would you hire a real estate lawyer? The real estate lawyer is the person you should have hired before you entered into the deal to see if it's a good deal. A real estate lawyer is not going to help you when you have civil litigation and potentially criminal exposure. That's crazy as I don't know what. That's like, like if I committed bankruptcy fraud and I'm potentially getting investigated for fraud, you need someone who can do investigations work, somebody who got some criminal experience. A bankruptcy lawyer probably never been in a criminal process, never been in a trial. So I think that's wild that now that stuff hitting the fan, he decided to go to a real estate lawyer. But hey, that's wild.
He filed a lawsuit against the Pinas.
He has a legal right to file whenever he deems fit. He is now contending with cases that are being filed every day improperly against him.
Why not come out on his radio show and warn other alleged victims if he feels that he was?
This is they're ongoing litigations, and there's no room for them on, any sort of radio show.
A lot of people say they bought in because of Envy's reputation. Does he not have some responsibility?
Absolutely not. The only reason why Envy is sued is to sensationalize the case.
The attorney is seeking dismissals of all the lawsuits. As for the Pinas, we caught up with Cesar's wife, Jennifer, in Bergen County.
Do you have anything to say to the alleged victims?
I say, just hold tight and we're going to come through.
Where's the money?
That's a Cesar.
Okay, that's a terrible response. Just hold tight and we're gonna come through. Come through with what? Money that y'all finessed? That's how that response comes off. That's I don't know, scamming 101. No, every legit, not legit scammers, no such thing as a legit scammer. But most scammers scam enough to where they can ensure that their spouse is at a certain arm's distance. If you finesse multi-millions of dollars out of people for some bogus schemes, you should have mechanisms in place so that your wife should be able to leave wherever the hell you got her held up at and not get asked questions. And even if she gets asked questions, I feel like you got an attorney. She's actually named in some of these lawsuits I looked at. Just shut up. You shouldn't say what she said. Jay, everybody out there, all the victims, just sit tight. We gonna come through. That's wild. That sounds guilty as hell. It sounds like somebody who finessed you and hey, just hold on. We're going to give y'all money back. Just don't get too. Her response is absolutely insane and crazy. I don't know. That's a terrible response.
Cesar's wife, Jennifer, in Bergen County.
Do you have anything to say to the alleged victims?
I say, just hold tight and we're going to come through.
Where's the money?
Listen, that's a Cesar answer for you. I can't give you that answer. He wants to be here with you. He wants to do the sit down. He wants to have this interview. He wants to clear the air. He wants to explain his side and he wants people to understand what's going on. But, he's been advised to not talk.
there may be some hope for investors. A judge has appointed a bankruptcy court trustee to oversee some of the Pina's properties. Any available assets could eventually be sold off to pay alleged victims. From Patterson, Sarah Wallace, News 4 New York.
That's absolutely crazy as to how we got here in the first place. I mean, I just think that's wild. That's it. Ain't no way people are that gullible. I agree. Like let's just be upfront in that video. What did y'all notice about all of the victims that they showed in that video? All of the victims except the one guy. It was one guy who was a black guy about my complexion. Everybody else in that video was like beige, like waffle color, exactly like DJ Envy and Cesar Pina. Now you would ask, why is that DFD? Why does that what does that have to do with anything? Because people tend to invest and fall for scams when they're being facilitated by people who look like them. Like, I don't know the number, but I guarantee you Bernie Madoff, he probably finessed very few black people. It probably was a few brothers and sisters that Bernie Madoff finessed. But generally, on average, when scammers operate, they operate with people who look like them because just naturally, that's who you feel comfortable with. So, it doesn't strike me when they start naming out the victims. As soon as you hear all the names, they're names of people from Latin descent because he was a person from Latin descent. People tend to trust people who look like them, who they think come from similar backgrounds. That's point number one. Point number two is, what do y'all think? Do y'all think that, okay, we're going to assume for purposes of this, and this is, it's not actually an assumption, it's a fact because we don't know it. But right now, the facts suggest that all DJ Envy did was have this guy on his show, host these educational events on real estate. Do you think he has or should have any liability from bringing someone on his platform to get people to invest in? Because that's a fair question. Because, some people take the side of, hey, he's just bringing these people on this platform because they have a story to tell and they tell their story. He's not actually directing the people to call in. But when we looked at that video, we saw some commercials and he used a lot of us. We invest in us. We can do all of these things. Crazy language, terrible language. But I actually went and looked at some of the lawsuits that were filed. Okay. And I guess I'm going to get the easiest question, or probably one of the questions people want to know is, right now, just based on all the legal paperwork that I found, I don't think there's actually anything out there against DJ Envy. And I'm just talking about from a criminal standpoint from right now. Because civilly, that's a whole different ball game. But before I talk a little bit more about it, we got to understand how these investigations work, okay? The fact that civil lawsuits are actually being filed is interesting. Now, how come they haven't filed any criminal charges against this dude who sold the same property to 85 different people? Well, there's a few reasons. Sometimes lawsuits can run parallel. So you can have a criminal lawsuit going on for this conduct, and civil lawsuits can be going on at the same exact time. Normally, me personally, it's easier to let the criminal case go forward first, because if I can prove that you did something criminally, where I got to convince 12 jurors that you did it, I can definitely convince 6 jurors civilly that you did something if you already been convicted criminally. But the reason why these lawsuits are filed, because these are just individuals bringing lawsuits against this person. Right now, as it stands, there doesn't appear to be any civil litigation is filed on behalf of a government entity. I didn't see anything out there where people went to their local attorney general's office. A lot of times, if you got scammers out there and people who are finessing the system, you can call your local attorney general's office, and they'll actually issue a press release of companies who they don't recommend you do business with. But I didn't see anything like that in the ether. So these are just individuals suing to get their money back. At the end of the video, it said that the properties that he does have, they are going to be able to sell some of those properties off to repay the victims. this dude has nowhere near enough assets to pay people back all of the money. So people who invested $200,000, old boy who invested $1 million, he might, if he got back $150,000 out of $1 million he invested, he would be lucky. Normally, on average, it's somewhere between 20 to 30 cents on the dollar, and that's a good return. Sometimes it's lower than that. Sometimes you get back pennies on the dollar. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. DJ Envy actually responded. That was what I thought was interesting. So let me go ahead. I want to queue up this video. So once we can get all these videos out the way. But DJ Envy actually responded to this, which y'all already know my take. I think that was stupid as hell. Like, you don't need to respond to allegations that are being like, okay, people have filed lawsuits against Cesar and they have named DJ Envy in those lawsuits, right? But right now, just in my opinion, the majority of the buzz that's around DJ Envy is buzz on social media. People talking about what he knew, people talking about if there's any criminal exposure. And hey, I get that. But the good thing for him and the best thing for DJ Envy is people can make 50 million videos. I can make a video, JT can make a video, all these people can make all of these videos. But as long as that's all they're doing, making videos, you should not defend that. You shouldn't say anything. One of the things I always tell is the two worst clients you can have as an attorney: the person who doesn't comply with rule 1. Well, what is rule 1? The person who don't pay you. Okay, that's the worst client to have. The client who's not going to pay you, they're going to end up trying to pay you in watches and stuff like this dude was doing in the video. I had some guys who tried to pay me in watches. I had people who tried to write me checks. I'm like, dude, I just represented you from uttering the forged instrument. I'm not taking a check from you. But the two worst type of clients are the ones that don't pay and the ones that don't listen. Actually, the ones that don't listen actually may be worse, because the ones that don't listen, they kind of morph into the people who end up not paying you any damn way. But those are the two worst type of clients, the ones who don't listen. You never want to argue your case in the court of public opinion, because what's already out there is what's out there. I think to even speak to it and address it is extremely foolish. Now, I have a reason why I think he addressed it. I don't personally think he wanted to address it. I think he got a little bit of pressure from the corporate sponsors, iHeartRadio, where he works at. Well, DFD, why would iHeartRadio want to have him say something about these allegations and get it out there to the masses? There's a few reasons, okay? One, it's a nationally syndicated show. They all over everybody's radio. They're actually on cable television. So if I could get my story out there to potentially cause people to believe the version of the facts that I'm saying, that automatically kind of throws a little bit of dirt into the selective jury pool. It may have been people out there who probably never heard of this, but when you go about it on the Breakfast Club, you go there in the morning, yo, all of my millions of listeners, I didn't do this. This guy might have done it, but I didn't know everything. Well, you're getting out in front of people who are going to be potential jurors. If it's jurors, it's going to be people who are in the area where the case is filed. So, from a strategic standpoint, I can kind of understand why he would want to get out in front and do that. But I think the second reason, and the most important reason why he actually had to address it, and we're going to play that once I finish this point. I think the second reason he had to address it is because iHeartRadio has a lot of exposure. DJ Envy got money by iHeartRadio and the radio station that does the Breakfast Club, and isn't the Breakfast Club broadcast on Revolt on Diddy's network? Those are the people who got the real money. And we all know that there's this legal concept, respondeat superior. And in short, what the hell that means is if you do some conduct that is illegal conduct or conduct that could be harmful to somebody during the course of your employment, the employer can be liable for your conduct. So if I'm iHeartRadio, DJ Envy probably didn't want to say anything. This is just my assumption, because DJ Envy I don't think he's a stupid guy. He's a college graduate. I can't remember which HBCU he went to, but I don't think he's a stupid guy. I don't think he wanted to say anything. But if I'm iHeartRadio and I'm the bosses at iHeart, I'm like, look here, bro. You work for me. You brought this lame ass dude on here, talk about here, real estate mogul with a black shirt and chain on. If your real estate investor always wear black t-shirts and chains, that's a red flag. But the bosses was like, you brought this dude on this show. You got him this exposure to all of our millions of listeners who tune into this show. Now we got a hook in our back where we could be potentially liable because you did this, you promoted a lot of this stuff during the course of your employment. You promoted a lot of this stuff on your social media platforms that may be affiliated with iHeartRadio. So you're going to get your ass out there and you're going to tell everybody that you didn't do it. I don't give a damn what your attorney says. So I'm guessing that's probably the reason why Envy actually went and made this world-class apology tour. Let me go ahead, pull up our next video so we can see the apology tour that DJ Envy took.
Now at 5:30, an I-Team exclusive update. Radio personality DJ Envy responding to our investigation about investors who say that they were conned by his business partner.
Investigative reporter Sarah Wallace broke the story last night and joins us with the new details.
My attorneys don't want me to speak, but I think there's things that I need to clear up a little bit.
I think you should listen to your attorney.
Up until today, DJ
Charlamagne a smart dude, man. Hey, I like Charlamagne, man. He funny, and I actually agree with him here. Anytime you got to start out by saying, my attorney doesn't want me to speak, but I think I need to, you already about to, like, I don't know. I think it's stupid to say anything, but let's see how this goes.
Envy has never publicly addressed the controversy surrounding his one-time business partner, Cesar Pina, on the celebrities syndicated show, The Breakfast Club. In fact, Envy has repeatedly promoted Pina's real estate seminars and investment opportunities.
What up, y'all? It's DJ Envy, Flippin' NJ.
Come on, man. Like, I'm going to just be honest. Like, come on, real quick. This dude on the right, if he came up to you just like that, how he look right now, let's just put both of them in there. And DJ, take DJ Envy out of it. Just say that was Raheem Jackson, okay? You didn't know, just based on these guys' appearance, okay? These guys came up to you, and I'm not saying, hey, sometimes DFD, sometimes I come out the house and I'm looking crazy. But generally, okay, if someone is talking to me about investments, there's a certain freeze. And somebody who's well dressed and who speaks well and presents well can finesse your ass too. All right, so I'm definitely not saying that. But I'm just like, come on now. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me because, I'm a little bit jaded because I've seen the worst of the worst. Hell, I used to represent the worst of the worst and a lot of criminal matters. But it just gives me, it looks crazy for me to say, hey, right, I'm about to entrust these dudes right here just because of what I seen on Instagram with $200,000 in equity that I pulled out of my house, or my life savings of $250,000. Like, yo, that's kind of bonkers. I'm going to say, when you get finessed, most of it is the finesser's fault. But hey, you still got some blame on your end, because most times the only people who fall for this is people who are greedy. If you not greedy, chances of you getting finessed out of your money will never happen. Just think about it. This dude promising 30% returns. Don't you think if this dude was getting people 30% returns in 3 to 4 months, don't you think every multi-billionaire, every multi-millionaire would be investing with this guy? It wouldn't even be worth his while if he was actually getting those returns to take somebody's money who is giving him $200,000. It just wouldn't make any sense. So keep your head on the swivel. Everybody is always trying to take what you got. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's a cold world out here. most people, hey, if they can finesse you, they will.
Details.
My attorneys don't want me to speak, but I think there's things that I need to clear up a little bit.
I think you should listen to your attorney.
Up until today, DJ Envy has never publicly addressed the controversy surrounding his one-time business partner, Cesar Pina, on the celebrities syndicated show, The Breakfast Club. In fact, Envy has repeatedly promoted Pina's real estate seminars
like a No
and
Limit album
investment
cover.
opportunities.
What up, y'all? It's DJ Envy, flipping NJ.
Even as lawsuits began mounting by investors who claimed they were ripped off by Cesar for hundreds of thousands of dollars in a real estate venture involving distressed New Jersey properties, not a word from Envy on the air until the I-Team interviewed multiple alleged victims who say they bought in because of the reputation of the radio host.
DJ Envy absolutely is equally to blame. He is on a major platform, which is not only in New York, but across the United States.
Envy on his show now denying any involvement in Cesar's real estate deals.
Now, Cesar, if he took money, I wasn't privy to it, nor did I even know. But for anybody to say I was involved, that's totally not true.
And he's trying to do damage control. It was DJ Envy who personally introduced me to Cesar.
Anthony Barone says he toured Paterson, New Jersey properties with Envy and Cesar, then invested $500,000 in a planned apartment project and another $300,000.
I invested in Flip to Down, which was an online platform for fractional shares in buildings. DJ Envy is listed as the co-founder. I'm down $800,000.
And you think he's responsible in some way?
I think he's absolutely responsible.
It's not true. Like,
well, that's
fake news. Like, those are fake stories.
What was your reaction to DJ Envy's response?
I was shocked, honestly, because I truly believe he knew Cesar was scamming people.
Michael Ventura says he invested $200,000, his life savings, in a Paterson property. As with virtually everyone we spoke with, he also heard that Envy pitch.
This is unfair. It's unfair. We're trying to chase the American dream, just working, provide the best for our family, and then that dream is being crushed.
Cesar declined to be interviewed on advice of his attorneys. His wife, Jennifer, promised they will make investors whole.
Where's all the money? Where did all the money go?
That's a Cesar answer for you right there. There's no private island. There's no house in the Dominican Republic. There's no yachts. There's no fancy cars. That's an answer for Cesar to give to you, not for me.
Envy's attorney is now seeking to have all of the lawsuits against him dismissed. iHeartMedia could be named in future lawsuits. Several investors telling us they believe the corporation could be held legally culpable for their star's endorsements, now under scrutiny. From Tribeca, Sarah Wallace, News 4 New York.
Hey, I agree with that 100%. Honestly, hell, if if it was me, I could care less about DJ Envy and his pockets, because I'm definitely trying to get into iHeart pockets. So yeah, they definitely gonna get named in lawsuits. I think they are the reason why DJ Envy made his little pitch today, and I put the link when I finish this video up so y'all can check it out. I didn't want to play it because if you play the whole clip of the Breakfast Club, YouTube gonna be like, you can't play that because it's blah blah blah, copyright, blah blah blah, whatever. But it's a few things. One, it's a few things. One, just from the standpoint of if I were ever to decide to turn to a life of crime and be a scammer, I would like to hope that my wife would just put her purse over her head and walk away and say no comment. Like, don't be like, she's doing too much talking. Like, I'm like, look, yo, we've been married long enough to where if I do something that is wild, if I do something that is wild, okay, and it causes the news to come ask you questions about my conduct, hey, you should know the name of the game. The name of the game is no comment. Keep it walking, keep it moving, keep it pushing. Don't be like, oh, that's a question for Marcus. You can ask DFD that. He'll get you the answer. Just don't say anything. That's point number one. Like, I'm sure in most of these cases that I've had, I would say this is probably honestly, it's a possibility. I'm not sure how much pillow talk was going on, but now that I think about it, I never thought about it before till right now. Most of the cases I had where there was some financial fraud, Ponzi schemes, embezzlement, misappropriation of funds, a lot of times the spouse didn't know. Like a lot of times I generally feel confident based on the information I had that the spouse may not have known. Because let's just think about it. Like it wasn't like somebody like Bernie Madoff was a broke boy before he started finessing people. Bernie Madoff was actually a very wealthy investor who was doing it legitimately. He just decided to go the illegitimate route. So it's plausible that his wife may not have known. She didn't know that, damn, he blew up. She could have honestly thought that, hey, maybe he just real nice and became super nice with the investments. What's going on? What's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you tuning in. But it's going to be wild. Now the question is, how could these lawsuits lead to any potential criminal conduct or criminal investigations for DJ Envy? And I'll tell you what I would do. Okay, it's really easy to find out. Okay, you got a civil investigation. When you got civil investigations, they're going to be depositions, and the word on the street is that Cesar Pina is just ghosts. Like they can't even find him, right? But typically, when you have civil cases, there's discovery. There has to be things that are disclosed, financial records, phone records, all of that. Now, what's probably happening is they probably trying to shred and burn all sorts of stuff because that's what people do. But there's going to be a record out there. So the first thing that I would do if this was me unilaterally looking at the case from the civil standpoint is great that there was large amounts of money involved, because the reason is because now all of the transactions are electronic. Nobody gave them $200,000 in a damn briefcase or out of a money bin like they were Scrooge McDuck. It was all electronic transfers. So typically, how you find and identify who are involved in the scheme is through the bank records. That's normally how I've always done it. So the prime example would be a person through discovery, they have to provide bank records. They have a company, this company was operating, and if the allegations that the money was mismanaged, what's going to happen? They're going to have to bring in all of those bank records for that company. When you start going through those bank records, it's going to be some nerdy ass dude, some investigators, some attorneys who's sitting there, and they going through those bank records line by line. And they're going to be able to identify all of those transactions. So when you got hundreds of thousands of dollars flowing, I mean, reading the bank record and finding an anomaly is so easy, especially if they've been engaged in business for a while, because you'll see transfers going to the same account. So normally, how I normally find it is I go through the bank records. Once you go through the bank records, you'll see, okay, there was $250,000 that came in on this date. 150 went out to this account. 70 went out to this account, and you'll start to identify those accounts. So you'll identify those accounts. They got large transactions that are leaving immediately after that money is going in. And you'll know, because when you do the discovery, you'll know if I'm transferring money from my corporate account, my corporate bank account, DFD's, LLC bank account to my personal account, you'll be able to know and identify that. And a lot of times they have their accounts set up in the same financial institution. They got their personal account set up in this financial institution, their business account set up in this financial institution, and it makes it real easy to go find and identify those anomalies. But that's how they're going to find it. If they are going to find and identify if there was any transactions in cash to establish some type of partnership, to establish some type of potential conspiracy, to establish whether DJ Envy was in fact complicit. Was he just doing this to help his friend promote his business, or was he doing this for his own self-interest? They're going to find it and identify it through the bank records. I'm just be honest. Like I said, I don't think right now there's nothing there. So DJ Envy really doesn't have anything to worry about from a criminal standpoint. There's nothing there. Now, as these civil cases go through, there may be something there. But right now, I don't think there's nothing there. That's why you don't hear a big deal about it. Also, Cesar Pina actually signed documents expressly saying that DJ Envy didn't have anything to do with the money and so forth. I think the thing that's going to be the problem, though, is, and I'm not sure if this was done, but it's normal. It is done oftentimes in the world of attorneys. If someone comes in my office to do a case and I don't practice that type of law, and I say, you know what, I don't practice real estate law for this real estate transaction you want to do, but I know somebody who specializes in it. Let me refer you. So I refer that person over to one of my colleagues who does do that type of law. Well, what will happen is when they take the case, they get paid. They normally kick me back some type of referral fee. Like, you know what? Hey, the referral fee could be a bill. The referral fee could be actual cash. It's actually quite common amongst professionals. Now, in some places, they do have laws that limits and put restrictions on how you can do referral fees. But generally, if I don't do something, I can't handle it. If it's a case that I can do, but I don't have the resources and the manpower to do it, I can punt that over. Hey, I'm going to send you to my guy over here at this firm. They got 300 attorneys who can do it. They'll kick me back a referral fee for sending them that work their way. Sometimes it happens the same way in media. So sometimes what happens is, and I don't know if this is the case, but it is a possibility. And this is probably where I'll look. If he had someone who's a self-proclaimed real estate guru go on the Breakfast Club, it could potentially been some type of agreement there where anyone who you get who signs up based on hearing this broadcast on a radio show could get some type of kickback. So it could have been some transaction under the table. DJ Envy did say he lost some money, but I don't know. I think it looks a little wild. I think where there's smoke, normally there's fire. So as these civil cases go, as these stones get turned over, if there was large ass transactions of money, I think we're going to find it, and it's going to fall right on DJ Envy's head. I think another easy place to look is going to be all of those seminars. All the seminars they had at the Jacob Javits Center, and where they was giving real estate game and all of this stuff. Those look like joint ventures. They're probably collaborations between Envy's business, this guy's business. So it's going to be real messy. But right now, as far as it goes, I don't think Envy has anything to worry about criminally. I mean, people going to name him in lawsuits. That's part of the game. But as it stands right now, I don't think they have anything there. So I know no prosecutors looking at it. Now, they may be keeping their eye on some of these civil lawsuits to see how things plan out, because they already got a victims list that's long as hell, thanks to all the people on social media, thanks to the news doing it. So they already got some victims who are going to go up there and testify as to how things got done. But y'all let me know, do y'all think that the fact that Envy used his platform to allow this person to reach so many people alone makes him responsible for the fraud that occurred? If let's say right now the only thing that we know is, hey, they had some business ventures together. Envy asserts that he wasn't on the real estate side, never took no money, but he did come on his platform. Do y'all think Envy bringing that person on the platform and that person commits fraud, do you think just bringing that person on the platform, because when you bring somebody on your platform, you open them up to a whole new customer base. Like all of those people who heard over the radio, they would have never invested. They probably wouldn't have knew who Cesar Pina was, but for them listening to the damn Breakfast Club and the Donkey of the Day doing their morning work or while they were at the office. So do y'all think that in and of itself is enough to put some culpability on him from a civil standpoint? It's a good question. I think everybody is responsible. When you have a platform, you're responsible for the people who come on that platform. And it's funny because I don't know if y'all remember, this was a while ago where Angela Yee was still on the Breakfast Club, and they brought oh man, what is his name? Scam Master Jay, the Tulsa real estate fund guy, Jay Morrison. They brought Jay Morrison on, and Jay Morrison was talking all this real estate stuff. And then when we found out Jay Morrison don't know a damn thing about real estate, DJ Envy was one of the first people to call him out on the air. And I was like, damn, that's good that he called him out because, you know, the dude was a scammer. Now, here we go, years later, tables have turned. Now DJ Envy name is brought up. So, okay, let's see. Let's see. I said, not unless he was getting a kickback. Yes and no. I agree with that. I do agree with that because if you, I think is not necessarily the kickback is one thing. Well, it's two separate things. A kickback is one thing, but the other thing is joint business ventures that they have together. And I think that is the problem because it's kind of analogous to a kickback. So let's say this guy didn't pay him to come on the show. And if he got new clients because of that show, he wasn't paying Envy nothing. Okay. So right now, there's no kickback, no money from any new clients going back to Envy's pocket. But the fact that they did have a joint business venture together, the fact that he was on social media promoting it as, hey, you can invest with us. You can come get some money. Hey, we, they, us. He using all that collaborative language. I think that's going to be something that's the problem. Because we all have a obligation when you have a platform to have, you have an obligation to make sure that one, you got people who are on the up and up on, and two, if you realize somebody was on your platform who wasn't on the up and up, you got to put some content out so that people know, yo, we not moving this way no more. We not supporting this thing no more because we found out it's something that doesn't match up with our values. I don't know if y'all remember. I think last summer I had a partner on a financial advisor, and him and his company has an ETF, an AI powered ETF on the New York Stock Exchange. And it's actually a dope idea. But as we were doing that interview, before I even started, I was like, yo, I'm not telling y'all to invest in this. I'm not investing in it. Hey, it's a dope idea for him, but nah, that's not how DFD roll with his stuff. You know, do your own research, do your own due diligence. And that was something that I actually had to put out because I didn't want people to listen to that show and think, oh man, wow, DFD is supporting this brother who got the first black owned exchange traded fund on the New York Stock Exchange that's AI powered. Nah, it was a dope idea, but I had to make sure that there was some separation between him, what he had his toes in, and me, what I was doing, because I never want to put myself in a position where it looks like I'm marketing something. And I'm real particular about that. Even when all the crypto companies were crashing, like I used to have a crypto thing in my link. I took it off because I was like, I don't want to tell somebody to use this platform, which I feel fairly confident isn't going to go bankrupt. But in abundance of caution, I didn't want to recommend it to somebody. Something happened, and then they looking at me sideways, you know. So that was kind of always been my tank. Yeah, but you got an obligation to vet the people on your show, and if you find out that they fugazi on the back end, if you find out that there's some scammers or shysters on the back end, you got an obligation to address it. And I think that helps out too, especially if you got like corporate partners, because it creates some distance so you avoid having that legal concept respondeat superior. Like, okay, the employer is liable for the act of the employee. If me as the employee, I jump out and say, hey, no, that video we shot last week, hey, I'm gonna take that video down, and I just wanted to put this message out that this isn't something we're supporting because we found out that it was bogus. We found out that they had some things that weren't on the up and up. That in and of itself can get you out of liability. But what do people do? When people get blamed with stuff, all they want to do is people go to the straight defense mechanism of I didn't do it, and I don't even think you needed to go there. Yeah, he should have vetted dude before putting them on this platform. They never do though. People never do. I've done videos with Earn Your Leisure guys had somebody on there telling one of their callers how to commit fraud. And I was like, really? And they were just sitting there gassing it up like it was a good idea. It's terrible. And the sad thing is, it happens in our community so often. So, I guess the takeaway from this is, right now, I don't think DJ Envy got anything to worry about from an actual criminal investigation standpoint. But it's going to be interesting to see what this discovery turns up in these civil lawsuits that are filed. The other thing that's going to be important is who filed the civil lawsuits, because filing the lawsuit is not cheap. If they got a lawyer who can't go the distance, because I've seen it done all the time. When I'm in a lawsuit against a pharmaceutical company who got gazillions of dollars, you know what they try to do? They try to bombard me in legal paperwork. We're going to bombard your ass with so much legal paperwork because y'all only got so many attorneys. Y'all only got so many staff. We got $1 trillion bag. We can outsource this. We're going to bombard y'all with so much paperwork where y'all just tap out and be like, man, the hell with this case. So, the people who filed the lawsuits, they actually got to have the resources to bring all of this stuff through, because out of those lawsuits, everybody's not doing it. Hey, you only got to pay me if you win something, because there may not be anything there. If Cesar is like a lot of other fraudsters, they may only have a fraction of the damn money that they gotten illegitimately. So it may not be nothing there. So a lot of people who filed these lawsuits, they're probably paying a retainer out of their pocket. And I don't know what I would charge for that, but my retainer would be, it would be up there. And hey, when I got out of law school, my rate, I started my own firm when I got out of law school, and I know what the hell I was doing. And my rate was like $200 an hour. That was great. I ain't know what I was doing. I was in court with the doe eyes. I always had to be like, Yana, let me get a continuance. And I had to go find out what I need to do. But so hiring an attorney to litigate something for you isn't cheap. So it's going to be interesting to see if the people who filed the lawsuit won, if they got a bag where they can follow and see all of these lawsuits through. I seriously doubt if iHeart, because they aren't named in any of the litigation right now, I don't think iHeart is going to put their bag behind it. But you best believe the minute, and I don't know why their lawyers haven't. Like, I have no clue why their lawyers haven't. That would be like if you were in a car accident with somebody who's driving for Uber. The first thing you're going to do is, hey, I'm suing this guy, and he was driving for Uber at the time, so I'm suing Uber. Now, of course, Uber is going to be like, hey, that guy's an independent contractor. That's a whole nother legal battle that they're going to use to try to get out of it. But it's that same concept. You always file a lawsuit against the person with the biggest bag. So I'm actually shocked that iHeartRadio isn't named in any of this litigation yet, because they would have been they'd have been the first name in the lawsuit. It would have been like, hey, it'd have been like DFD versus iHeartRadio. And then I would have named everybody else on the back end, because I would have tried to get the person who got the bag first and foremost. And what happens sometimes, I don't know, but this is a possibility. Parties to a lawsuit can settle out and leave the other people there hanging. Like just think about it. It could be a lawsuit against persons A, B, and C, and person B settles, and the lawsuit is dropped. The court accept that, but it still moves forward with person A and C. So this could be weird and interesting to see how it plays out. But nothing's going to happen on the criminal side until all of these civil things play out. And then some high-speed prosecutor is going to take a look at what went on civilly. They're going to take a look at all the discovery, and they're going to make a determination, is this something worthwhile? Now, I will tell you, hey, if you're a young prosecutor coming up and you could get a conviction against somebody who's a celebrity or a politician, like, yo, hey, those are the type of cases that people run for mayor on. Say they tough on crime. Hey, I'm so tough on crime, I prosecuted a local celebrity because he did the wrong thing. Hypothetically, but that's just how prosecutors think. Yo, I hope this video was informative. It was some infotainment that y'all enjoyed. Be careful with the scams. If someone is talking too pro-black, if someone is talking real religious in conjunction with an investment idea, that's always a red flag. They always gotta have something to reel you in with. You know, you see the people, if you're a religious person, they're gonna talk religious. If you're a pro-black person, they're gonna be the most pro-black investor that you ever. Man, we got to do this for us. You know what I'm saying? What do you think Dr. King and Brother Malcolm would have done? It's gonna get real crazy. They're gonna go real hotep on you. So just keep your head on a swivel. When someone gives you something that sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If it was a 30% investment, like, yo, come on. The stock market typically does on average about 10% a year. So you're going to do 3 times better than what the stock market did in 4 months. If that was the case, why are you taking these investments from people donating, giving you $75,000, $200,000? If you was getting 30%, you know how many millionaires would give you $10 million, $100 million to flip that in 3 or 4 months? That's how you know that the returns was BS, because if they were legit, it wouldn't even be worth his while to do business with somebody who's only investing $200,000. That's it for this video. If you checked out this video and you enjoyed it, make sure you check out the content on the screen. There's going to be more content related to finances. Tomorrow, I'm getting back to the old school finance video. I'm going to drop a video, and it's called "You Are About to Make a Bad Financial Decision If." And I'm going to give y'all the top 5 ways that I know now, because I didn't know then, but the top 5 ways that I know I'm probably about to make a bad financial decision if. I'm going to give y'all that. Y'all check it out. Take care. Peace.